In this edition of Southern Newsweek, slow-moving traffic prompts the police to issue a timely reminder to those about to hit the road. Relief is in sight for Baldwin Street residents as a new loo is installed for desperate tourists. And Orokonui Eco Sanctuary takes on some juveniles, giving the establishment some genetic diversity. Kia ora, I'm Holly Buchanan. Motorists heading for the Central Otago holiday resorts this week are being advised to be patient. Slow-moving tourist vehicles on winding highways are often a source of frustration. But the advice from police is allow more time and be patient.
The Crown Range Road is a place where slow-moving tourist vehicles can often frustrate those in a hurry, and it's not a good place for overtaking. Hi, I'm Mark Price on the Crown Range Road, just on the Queenstown side of Cardrona, where the road gets quite windy. It's a place where frustrations start to set in for faster moving traffic confronted with slow moving tourist traffic.
Huge volume of tourists going over there from all sorts of nationalities. A lot of them travel slow, and it does frustrate motorists. Our staff are aware of this and I try to pull them over and explain to them about travelling at a reasonable speed or pulling over, because there are areas to pull over. But our advice to motorists is it's holiday time, these are tourists, you've just got to slow down and be patient. Probably leave half an hour early, to go to your destination. Patience, it's got to be.
Senior Sergeant Grindle says police will be highly visible on the road and will be focused on speed, alcohol and seatbelts. In previous years, police have said about 50 extra officers are stationed in Wanaka over the Christmas-New Year period. This year they're not talking numbers, but have noticed a change in behaviour around alcohol that suggests fewer police might be necessary.
We think Wanaka's changed a lot since the late 70s and 80s, where it really was a party town. We believe Wanaka's more of a family place now. If you go back to the late 70s and 80s, the streets after New Year's Eve used to be strewn with broken bottles and cans, and it took several hours for sweepers and that to clean it up. You just don't see that now.
Part of the credit, he says, goes to a better level of alcohol education, but also to the bylaws that ban alcohol consumption in public areas of the Wanaka CBD and along the lakeshore. The normal rule is for no drinking in public from 10 p.m. until 8 a.m, but from tomorrow, Tuesday, that becomes a 24-hour ban, which lasts until the 5th of January. I'm Mark Price for the South Today.
Cruise liner Ovation of the Seas was due to berth at Port Chalmers on Thursday, but bad weather led to the visit being cancelled. However, Otago Daily Times illustrations editor Stephen Jackery ventured to Milford Sound to get up close and personal with the $1.4 billion ship. It's the biggest cruise ship to come to the south, with more than 4,900 passengers on board. The grandeur and sheer size of the vessel is apparent as it carves its way up Milford Sound, especially filmed from a considerably smaller vessel. After briefly ploughing the southern waters, the ship then departed for Wellington. A new public toilet is nearly in place at the bottom of the world's steepest street. Residents and businesses near Baldwin Street have been holding on for more than 3 years to see some action over public facilities. And now relief is finally in sight.
It's no longer being wiped under the table. The final work is being done on temporary toilets at the bottom of Baldwin Street, and it's been a long time coming. Frustration from locals and calls to council about the issue of tourists wanting to use private toilets has finally seen the DCC address the matter.
I think that the engagement I've had with the local businesses and the hospice etc. that are in this area see it as a positive. I think the world's steepest street is an attraction to tourists in the city, and we need to have some facilities for them to utilise.
Feedback will be sought from the community and tourist operators. Demand and location will be assessed to determine whether or not it's a permanent solution.
If the current location and scope of the toilet isn't sufficient, then we'll have other options we can look to progress.
The toilet is vandal-proof, based on a design from America and constructed by local fabricators. If it's deemed unsuitable for Baldwin Street, it can be used elsewhere. The toilet facility will be functioning and open to the public tomorrow afternoon. Dee Karen, The South Today.
The season has only just begun for fruit growers in central Otago, and cherries are already in high demand. Staff are busy packing the juicy treats so many love to eat at Christmas. Wholesale prices are high this year, and consumers can expect to pay around $30 per kilogram for export grade cherries. But if buying directly at the orchard door, you can expect to pay only $12 per kilogram for the lower quality fruit.
Pre-Christmas, leading into Christmas is always probably the best price you'll get all year. There's a big demand going into Christmas obviously, so it's kind of what you would expect, but maybe there's a little bit more of a shortage this year, and there's a lot of things happening this year. Like you see, our roading network's not too flash, is it, between here and the North Island, so, and I just guess the weather's played its part as well. So there is a little bit of a shortage, or there has been a bit of a shortage, so the prices are probably higher than what they've been the last 2 or 3 years leading into Christmas.
Jeffrey says he tries to keep the price low for local customers, even though they don't make much money off the roadside sales. Even with inclement weather conditions affecting some crops, there will still be plenty of cherries available in time for Christmas dinner. The numbers of endangered species is going from strength to strength at the Orokonui Eco Sanctuary. 17 juvenile tuatara have arrived there, increasing the inhabitants to just over 100. And the new additions will give the existing population some much needed genetic diversity.
Being welcomed to their new home. 17 juvenile tuatara joined an already thriving population at the Orokonui Eco Sanctuary. A group of 87 tuatara were released there in 2012 and are well established.
This release today is to expand the population and to add some genetic diversity to the population, and it gives the tuatara that we're releasing a new home in the outdoors, which we think will be to their benefit. So it's good for Orokonui and it's good for these individual tuatara.
Tuatara are classed as at risk, and the population at Orokonui goes a long way to ensuring their survival. But with numbers as high as 60,000 nationally, it would seem they're in good hands.
And that often surprises people because they are thought of as extremely rare. It's true that they're much rarer than they used to be before humans arrived, but they're not as threatened as many of our lizard species that don't get as much attention.
Professor Cree and her research assistant have checked on the existing population, who all appear healthy and well.
At Orokonui, we've recaptured over half of the tuatara that were released in 2012. They're all looking well and they're all looking in good condition. We're very pleased with the progress so far.
The tuatara were released one by one into a newly created area close to the sanctuary. John Williams was given the honour of helping the first one into its burrow. The juveniles will take another 11 years to reach maturity and are likely to survive at the Eco Sanctuary for as long as 100 years. Dee Karen, The South Today.
Coming up on Southern Newsweek, 2 Australian chefs have been brought into the country to help coach the next generation of culinary experts. And a 66-day-long walk finally ends for a Southland nursing student. Welcome back. Proponents of a cooking holiday program say you're never too young to begin learning about food preparation. 2 Australian chefs have been brought to Dunedin by the University of Otago to launch the program. It's aimed at pupils in years 9 to 13 with the ultimate goal of producing chefs that are a cut above.
When a problem comes along, you must whip it. And when making the perfect meringue mixture, the egg white, caster sugar and malt vinegar combination should form stiff peaks. This group of high school students from across Dunedin are the first to go through an educational University of Otago food-based holiday program.
At a fundamental level, it's all about teaching kids how to cook, being confident in the kitchen, being adventurous, having the skills to make food for yourself and for your family, and really just enjoying it. The most important thing is learning to enjoy these fundamental skills.
The program was first developed in Australia, and its creators have been brought over by the university to set it up.
We're here working with the University of Otago and the Nutrition and Dietetics team, helping roll out a program called Create Our Own Kai. It's all about getting people in the kitchen and inspiring them and helping them to realise, especially young people, how easy it can be to prepare a healthy, fresh, delicious meal.
The university-based project is also a study into food trends among teens and aims to recruit 200 Year 9 and 10 children. Some will simply have a questionnaire, while others will have a cooking intervention, following which they get a bag of food each week for 5 weeks, with recipes so they can cook for their families. The youngest member of this current group is Liam Gonan, who's a 12-year-old chap and who's just completed Year 9, formerly known as third form. He says this week is enhancing his passion for food.
Well, yeah, it just inspires me to get into the kitchen, just start cooking. Why not? Now that I know how to cook something, I can actually cook something, if you see what I mean.
And with that, he was off to join his classmates as they shopped for dinner ingredients. This week-long course is available at the university throughout the summer holidays. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
An Otago Polytechnic student has completed his 2,244-kilometre walk from Bluff to Cape Reinga. Nursing student Kazushi Noiri spent 66 days on the road, leaving Bluff on World Arthritis Day in October. He's walked nearly 4.5 million steps on his journey and raised $5,000 for Arthritis New Zealand along the way. As a carer at an aged care organisation, he understands how hard everyday life can be for arthritis sufferers. After the break on Southern Newsweek, the baking talents of some Invercargill residents stun the town's city councillors, and the work of New Zealand artists transported to Dusky Sound goes on display. Welcome back. Southlanders are showcasing their love for the region. City Gallery in Invercargill is holding its Provincial Pride Art Awards, and gallery staff say it's great to see the talent from around the region.
From a community that's usually very humble and quiet about the love for where they live, comes an art competition showing what the locals can create from this passion. Hi, I'm Ruby Spink in Invercargill, outside City Gallery, where they're holding their annual exhibition to demonstrate pride in Southland. The pieces entered into the Provincial Pride Art Awards range from ceramics to woodcuts to pen drawings and acrylic paintings. The theme is Southland, and the curator of the exhibition says it makes for easy inspiration to the locals.
That's what they know and what they really love to paint. So, and of course it's beautiful scenery and things to paint down here and wildlife and everything.
The competition brings in artists from all over the region, from all levels of experience. Gemma says this brings vibrancy to the art scene.
People that are new to exhibiting, as well as people who have exhibited all their lives, so it's really interesting to see what some people have come up with.
She's been collecting pieces for this exhibition since October and says it's great to see it all together and on the walls now.
It's even more exciting when you put it together. Depending on what you put things next to, it can really make it look even more amazing than you thought it could.
The competition is supported by local businesses such as McIntyre Dick and Partners, who provide prizes for the winners of the different categories. And the competition will be open until Wednesday next week. Ruby Spink, The South Today.
Invercargill City Council staff were blown away at the architectural baking talents of residents recently. The goods produced in the inaugural gingerbread competition were put on display in the city for judging, and it's helping everyone get in the festive spirit.
The gingerbread people of Southland have some lavish places to call home this year. Hi, I'm Ruby Spink at the inaugural Invercargill Gingerbread House competition, which is well underway, and the competition organisers astonished with the entries.
I have been completely impressed with what we've received. The people in this region with their skills, amazing. And the business ones are really impressive. Like the one behind me, Colonial Bakery, unreal. They would have worked on it for weeks.
The different categories for judging are child, youth, adult, family, business and professional. But the talent from all the sections makes it hard to distinguish who made what. Amber Judd's 4-year-old entered the competition. She says it's a great chance for him to be creative.
My son decorated a Christmas house, he's called it, it's Christmas house, and he has seen me make them before, and he wanted to do one for himself, so this was the perfect opportunity for him to have his own creation. So yeah, he spent 2 or 3 nights this week making it.
She says it shows the children that they're part of the community when they enter these sorts of competitions.
I think it's really good for, especially for the young ones coming through, that they can see their creations as part of the bigger city. So it's not just him as an individual, he's part of a whole. Yeah, it's a connection thing, so it's good for him.
Many people were taking the opportunity to view the gingerbread houses up close. Carrie Graber says it's allowing residents to take part in a worldwide Christmas tradition.
It's just to have a great, right before Christmas, let's get out, celebrate the spirit, enjoy the city, and then we can all relax and get into Christmas.
She says it's great for people in the city to enjoy the holiday spirit. All the entry fees are going to the Southland Food Bank. I'm Ruby Spink for The South Today.
And finally, a nationally significant art exhibition's making its first stop of its New Zealand tour in Invercargill. 26 established and upcoming Kiwi artists were transported to Dusky Sound in Fiordland and tasked with connecting people with the place and providing a window into the environment. And Southland Museum staff say it's not an experience to be missed.
26 of New Zealand's best artists were sent to Fiordland by the Department of Conservation, with the mission to create a window into the unique area. It's all part of the new exhibition at Southland Museum, Tamatea. Hayley Brown was part of the team tasked with putting it all together. She says Dusky Sound, where it was all based, is one of the most remote places in the whole country.
A hard place to get into. It's untouched New Zealand wilderness is, for the most part, and so it's a unique experience to get into the area. What's one of the big fjords in Fiordland, so it's just this magical, untouched place.
The artists, including Nigel Brown, Ginny DeVol, Denise Hunter and Simon Kahn, worked in a range of media. The collection hosts everything from oils to weaving, ceramics, poetry, waiata and photography. Brown says the exhibition has been in the planning for years, with the first lot of artists going to Dusky Sound in 2014.
So you had 26 artists who did it in extremely different ways and what they saw, and the ones who went in winter were quite different to the ones in summer. So it's this huge artist-led exhibition.
She says DOC facilitated the exhibition for the purpose of advocating their conservation efforts by showing where the actions are taking place.
DOC have a vision to make Dusky Sound one of the most intact ecosystems in the world, and it can also then be used as a biobank to help support other areas to repopulate endangered species.
The exhibition's open in Invercargill until mid-February. All the funds raised by the sale of the pieces will directly support Tamatea conservation and restoration projects. Ruby Spink, The South Today.
And that's all for this edition of Southern Newsweek. You can see more of Southern News by following us on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, or via our website channel39.co.nz. I'm Holly Buchanan. Thanks for watching.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.